Hello, my scrappy friends, and welcome back to my channel. I know it has been a very long time, and I did not mean for it to be a month. Let me tell you, I even tried to work on a project, and I just had too much going on between the end of the year events for my kids at their school and then my school as well. I just became overwhelmed. But I did have a project. I did have it on my workspace, and I attempted multiple times to do it. But like I said, never intended for me to take off a month. And let me tell you, I did not know where and how to get out of this rut. Normally, I could figure out by finding some inspiration on social media, but that wasn't working. Even on sketches, that wasn't working. And I realized, let me just scratch this whole 12 by 12 project, kind of put it off to the side, and just because I felt like I was cutting up papers, trying to figure out what to do, and I just didn't want it to turn into little bitty scraps because I'm just cutting away. And so I went to my All About Me project, which is a project life that I do monthly. And I feel that this was when I get in a rut, this is kind of like my go-to on getting me out of this rut because the real estate for the project life is so much smaller. You're either dealing with a 4x6 or 3x4 spot. And so very easy for me to jump right in. So this is what I'm working on. I'm working on May, and May was Mother's Day. So that's the very first card I'm working on. I showed you the Studio Calico kit that I am working with, which if you're just now joining me on my All About Me, I'm trying to really use up the subscription that I bought a year ago from Studio Calico and kind of break them open because, yes, I never did open them. So I'm doing that now. And I decided to use this card because, one, it had all the colors that were in the kit, and that really helps me to kind of pull from my stash if I need to, if I don't find the embellishments that I like in the kit. And so I picked this one that was a plaid. It had plaid completely covered on the 4x6 on the one side, but I really liked using this one because it did add a border. So I had a couple or three little 2x2 squares, and I'm going to go ahead and add that last one with some foam sticker just to add a little dimension and kind of have it pop off the last two or the two photos. And then I also wanted to, because I liked having those photos in the center of that border, I wanted to also include a title that says Mother's Day using some Simple Stories tile cards. Now, I did show you some washi tape earlier. I was hoping to use one thing for my stash. Those washi tapes does not make it onto this spread, but I did go into my Maggie Holmes book and I found these little foil hearts. So I'm going to go ahead and add those. And to me, it's a win-win situation if I can use anything from my stash. Because as you guys all know me, I'm notorious for just trying to use up what I have to make space for new stuff. All right, so I really like how that card came out. And now I'm just going to go ahead and pull the cards that off camera I actually grabbed. So I don't do this filming when I have the camera on. I like to kind of go through the kit, figure out what I'm going to use, and then put that aside. Now sometimes I'll have extra cards, and that's when you're kind of see me play around with certain cards, but for the most part, this one was pretty already set on what I wanted. And one thing about my style is I definitely like to have, if I have one that's a quote, I want to make sure I have another one to balance it. So you see there the two cards that say positive thoughts, positive life. I love that, and enjoy where you are now. So important. So then I found another one that had a perfect like ledger, like paper pad that was going to be great for my one photo, and then I could go ahead and tell the story on that one. And then I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't take very many photos in May or June, and I am notorious for this. I really get caught up in the moment, so when I'm somewhere, I tend to forget taking pictures. I know. I just get so caught up just being in that moment with whoever I'm with that I don't take a whole lot of photos. And so this is what you see. This is pretty much all that I have. And so I thought about using that Be Kind to Someone today. And then I thought, you know what? I have one other photo of a selfie of me. And I think I might use that one instead because I had an idea for this card. And I'll talk more about that later. All right, so then I had this other picture of a series that I just finished. I had been reading it since January. I finally finished the fourth book. And that was for the month of May, so I wanted to go ahead and have all of those kind of combined, because not only when I read one book, I also read another book, and I documented the last few months of that opposite book that I was reading, just because I knew that I was eventually going to finish the series and have the whole, like a picture of all of them, and I just wanted to document just the series in itself one time. All right, so then I wanted to add some embellishments, and that's where I kind of go back into my stash, and I don't necessarily have to have them match. Meaning I don't have to have those positive signs everywhere. I thought I was going to, but then I was like, nope, that's not what I want to use. So I found a chipboard star by Studio Calico, and then I realized that I had yet to use any of the ephemera that came with this kit. So I went back and found a chipboard. The tags and embellishments that they had, like the ephemera, was mostly for traveling, so it really did not fit the spread. But I did pick that circle one that had a flower, and I'm actually going to remove that one. So I get all done, and then I realize, wait a minute, I have this Dear Lizzie package that has 3 stickers. This is from her Serendipity collection. That is how long it's been sitting in my stash. I want to get them used up. I'm so over it. And I really thought that the floral one right there could not be more perfect, so of course I add that one. And then I thought, you know what, I got a star, I'm going to go ahead and add that star. I'm going to wrap it around, or have it opposite of the other blue star, so that way it kind of hugs the title. And then I thought about using the Let Sparks Fly, which would have been perfect for that after series book series. If you know, you know. It's a preheated book, definitely not for kids. And I was going to add that one, but I thought, ooh, definitely wrong color. It does not match at all. So I decided to scratch that, and I just was going to go ahead and document. Here I waved goodbye, and that's when the next day I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and add that picture of me in here. Now, if most of you guys, if you've been following me for a while, you kind of already know this about me, but I hated taking pictures of myself. I didn't want to be in the camera. I didn't feel good being in the camera when I would see the camera done, or not the camera, sorry, I got a text and that threw me off. I didn't like how I looked in the pictures, and so I would never take them. Well, fast forward to years later, actually just a couple years ago, I was working on my kids' first album. I was barely in the album. There just wasn't very many photos of me, and it really made me sad. It made me realize that, wow, I can't go back. I can't rewind the time. So fast forward to, you know, me being the age that I'm at, I'm just like, you know what, this is me. This is how I look, and I'm no longer going to look how I did in my 20s. And I've learned to embrace that, and just no matter what, if I'm looking bad, I look bad. Just take a photo with my kids, because they are not going to care. In fact, I just took one today where my son had a cross country meet. I'm red in the face. He's red. We don't care. We took a picture, and it's going to go into his album. So there you have it. All right. So because of that photo, I am going to add kind of my currently what I'm eating, currently what I'm listening to and watching. They also had a reading one in that stamp set that was from Studio Calico, but I already have that photo of the books that I read, so I'm not going to include that one, but I am going to, like I said, include all the rest, which I think is so fun to go back to. I've done this once before more in a travel book format that was kind of an all about me and what I was up to for that year. And it is really fun to look back on the things that I was watching, um, things that I was reading, music that I was listening to, because sometimes music just, you know, I mean, new stuff comes out all the time, and we tend to forget some older stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was such a good group. Like, makes me want to go back and listen to it again. I did try to, or off camera, I did put down my stamps, and I had everything kind of lined up and realized, ooh, this is going to be a tight fit. So of course, once I hit record, I start stamping away, and I think because I realized it was going to be such a tight fit, I kind of squished the stamps together, and then I had a little extra space on the bottom. I've learned to embrace that, especially when it comes with stamping, because you really truly can't have it perfect. I've learned to not be a perfectionist. I'm not going to have my spacing perfect. I'm not going to have the alignment, you know, just right. It is what it is, but in the end, I'm so glad I did this for this card. That's it, everybody. It's coming to an end. I want to say thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, I do hope you consider subscribing. And if you're looking for a new Facebook group, I do have Scrap With Your Stash, and I'll leave a link with that below. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. Bye.